What's up, Lucky Gamers? It's Lucky Lux, and today I'm bringing you guys another video on Blue Archive. Today we're going to be talking about these two Mystic Damage Queens coming up on the next banner and who you should summon, who you should be thinking about. Like, if you have one, is it worth it to summon the other, or is it kind of worth it to go for whatever you're thinking, man? Because I know some of you guys who are low spenders, free to plays, you're really sitting here just like, boy, what do I do with these gems? Which one is more important? Which one is the one to go with? And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. So, Izuna, what do we know about her? Submachine gun user, mystic damage dealer. She's gonna be up front. She's gonna be getting into the nitty gritty. She's gonna be in their faces, right? Very similar to Neru. She's gonna have a movement ability, a little bit of AoE with a regular attack, and then she's gonna boost her attack speed and boost her attack with doing that, right? Pretty decent kit, right? Very similar to Asuna, except for Asuna doesn't increase her attack and Asuna gets evasion. When we look at Haruna, what does Haruna do? She snipes the mess out of your Tsubakis. Like, she hits a really high damage EX skill that will have a very small percentage of hitting the enemy Tsubaki, but it always seems like their Tsubaki hits yours, right? But when it happens, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, right? So she does really high amounts of damage, but it just sucks sometimes when it misses, right? So that's what we know about Haruna. Now, I love Haruna, so I'm not like on the I hate Haruna like that, because like I still use her in PvP because you have to, because like there's this chance that she will snipe the mess out of a Tsubaki and then kill the person behind, right? So, but I'm talking about, like, in practicality, like, how many times does that happen for you, right? So let's look at their stats. Well, no, let's look at their warfare types, right? They're both urban warfare, so good for PvP. They get the 20% extra boost. Izuna is going to be a B in field warfare, whereas Haruna is a D. And then for indoor, Izuna is a D and Haruna is a B. So they just kind of swap there. And they do have their differences when it comes to the defense. So Haruna is going to be a heavy armor and Izuna is going to be a light armor. So, like, as it stands right now, there are a lot of units that Izuna is weak to, but then again, there are a lot of units right now in PvP like Aru and Tsubaki that do heavy armor damage. And like right now for me, because I know I have Haruna, like, she kind of gets clapped whenever she gets hit. So I am excited to use a different unit, being Izuna, right? And so we look at their stats. It makes sense because one of them is a submachine gun user and one of them is a sniper rifle user. So obviously, where you see here where Haruna starts off with more attack than Izuna, well, I mean, she has a sniper rifle. But also with her having a sniper rifle, she's going to be doing lower instances of damage, as in over time, because she's doing big shots, but they're happening less. Versus Izuna, she's attacking more often, right? And then she also increases her attack speed. And then when they kind of round up to the level 100, or if some of you guys are getting closer to level 50, it'll be basically, I guess you could say, like almost half of this. Like, Haruna is just coming out with way more attack. But then look at Izuna's HP. I mean, she's having HP to be like a bruiser tankish character. And also on the other stats, Izuna has a lot of evasion, kind of close to Yuka. Whereas, Haruna, like, if she has an attack thrown at her, it's gonna hit. She's not dodging it, right? And then we can look at accuracy for Izuna. Izuna has less accuracy, but she attacks more often, whereas Haruna kind of needs this accuracy to be a little high, since she's doing, like, again, slower, high damage, shots. And of course, we know, being up front, Izuna is going to have lower range than Haruna, right? But let's talk about the skills. Let's talk about what matters, at the end of the day. So, as we know, on the EX skills, for Izuna, she's going to move to a specific location and increase her attack speed. So for most of you guys, you're going to have that within like the level 1 to level 3 range for most people. So you're looking at anywhere for like a 27 to a 39% range. Like, I don't really talk about 4 and 5 because most of us on the global server, we aren't quite there yet. Not everybody. I mean, for your waifu, you might be, but not everybody. And then for Haruna, we're looking at anywhere from 506 to 735% damage. Enemies within a straight line, which is reduced by 10% to a maximum of 30%, which I've seen it maybe hit a max of 2 people. There was only one time where she sniped and hit like 3 people and killed all of them. It was amazing, but it rarely happens. Usually there's like one person behind the Tsubaki when I see in PvP, right? Now in PvE, you can get a lot more, you can line that up a little bit better, but the only thing I hate is that the distance from where it travels, if an enemy is like literally moving, then it could miss. So that's one of the things that kind of sucks, right? So if we're talking about usefulness, let's talk PvE. Let's just get that out the way, right? Upcoming raid. More attack speed means more chances to attack, right? So she's giving herself more chances to basically boost her damage if you're looking at your charts, and she also increases her attack with that for 30 seconds, right? So this costs 3. It's very cheap, and she increases her attack speed and her attack for 30 seconds, which is a long time in Blue Archive, right? Because for the raids, I believe they're 3 minutes, right? So, and even in PvP. So, I mean, you're getting at least 7 to 8 chances. I'm only saying because you have to kind of wait for the ability to come up, but you're getting at least 7 to 8 chances where she's gonna have her skills boosted. That is really nice, and that is high amounts of damage. So when you look at, like, you know, an enemy doing a single instance of damage for PvE, like, it's really nice, right? Like Haruna, it's really, really nice. But for this 5 to 735%, like, you know, extra damage, like, yes, Haruna's like a damage and she'll spike up on the damage charts, but then she'll kind of shoot down until you get to it again, and it does cost 4, right? And so in between the time it takes for her to get her ability, because most of you guys are playing on auto, let's just be real, most of you are on auto, and you know, when you're like waiting for like a heal or a shield, especially up in this next like raid, you have to do a lot of shielding and moving. You won't be able to do Haruna's ability as much, right? And like that's something of concern, right? When you're thinking about like taking out a unit in, you know, in PvE for the raid, like, you can't always do this ability. Sometimes it's not the best option, but you can do Izuna's and then not have to worry for a whole nother 30 seconds, right? So you can just see that buff timer up on her and know that you're good, and just wait till it comes back again. So now in PvP, right? For Izuna, you can't move her on your own, but she gets the increased attack speed. So she has more chances to hit Tsubaki, but a lot of people are telling me that she gets basically sniped out and killed before anything happens. Which for me, everybody does. Literally all of my units get sniped out and killed before a lot of them can do anything. My Haruna gets like bombarded by Hibiki, or some Iori comes in, just basically like shoots at the Tsubaki and just kills my Haruna, who's just for some odd reason standing right behind her, and like that's what happens. So, but like I do like that if, you know, Izuna's not targeting Tsubaki, then with her extra attack speed and her extra attack, she can pretty much gun down somebody, right? If she moves to a different location. I do like that. Now with Haruna, hers is really nice because she has a chance to take out 1 to 2 units in PvP. And if she actually hits Tsubaki, I mean, it's hitting for 30-40k, and no one Tsubaki really right now has that much health. Like, I think mine just barely hit 30k. So, but most Harunas are hitting like 40, you know, 40k plus. So it's really nice. But when it hits, being that you're using this against a unit that has a very, very high chance to just straight dodge this, right? And then if your Haruna is not leveled up and this skill's not leveled up, then it's gonna just knock her down to where she gets her emergency heal, and Tsubaki will just heal back up, and then their Serena will just put her back up, and then like it's like your Haruna didn't do anything, right? And you just have to hope that she killed the DPS behind. That way this whole attack that you did is worth it, because we all know that those skills, like, we need them to be effective in PvP because every skill matters. So again, she has a higher chance of failure in PvP than Izuna. I know people in the comment section are going to like be like, oh my god, bro, what are you talking about? Yes, her normal attacks do a lot of damage. What I'm saying is that she has a higher chance of failure because she does less shots. She has a lower DPS. She has high damage numbers, but she has lower DPS. That's just what it is. She attacks slower, but she just does more damage. So again, just think about that. If you don't already have Haruna and you're looking for another unit for PvE, yes, Izuna wins. She does more damage and she increases her attack. Yes, it's not as much as Haruna, but she's still increasing her attack and she is attacking more often. That will even out. It will. All right, so let's look at the normal skill. This is where Izuna kind of gets a little crazy to me, and I really like it. So again, we're going to be talking about, you know, the chance of this all happening. So Izuna, every 6 normal attacks, she deals 444% damage within a round shaped area, which between level 1 and 3, you know, basically it's 490, right? So nothing too crazy. I wouldn't, unless you're leveling this all the way up, like it really doesn't start mattering until it kind of gets to like level 4 and 5 for this. So like if you don't have enough to bring it all the way up to 4 and 5, then you really don't have to worry about this EX skill, right? It's not too crazy, but it's hitting multiple enemies. So it's giving our Izuna here a AoE with her attacks, and every 6 normal attacks, she increases her attack speed. So she's going to be popping this off quite often, right? Let's come over here to Haruna. From level 1 to 3, 200 and 220%. Bruh, that's nothing. Like, you're telling me that, you know, this is all she's getting? And I know she has a high attack, so these numbers like matter overall, but like to dump all of your like materials into this and hope for it to change? No, because this is a very low amount of damage. And now I know she has 2 attack skills, right? But that's an EX skill. Her normal attack, this is every 30 seconds she deals 200% damage to a single enemy. So again, it's just single target, and it has a high chance to just dodge Tsubaki. And I've seen a lot of times where Haruna is at the bottom of DPS charts because she just misses. And I'm talking PvP. If you look at the charts at the end, she just misses because she just does this shot on her skills and it just completely misses. But you're telling me here that Izuna has a higher chance to attack. She can deal already 440% damage in a round shape, so she has a chance to hit another enemy in a PvE during the mission. She can hit another enemy. Like, yes, that's good. And then still for the raid, she's doing a nice chunk of damage here starting at level 1 that she can pop off a lot of times. So on the normal skill for PvE, yes, this wins. It's AoE. It can happen often. There's no timer telling you when it can happen. It's just based off her normal attacks. And for PvP, if she can get these attacks, if it's saying every successful normal attack or just regular normal attacks, this is really great for PvP. This is really great for PvP for those of you, especially at the lower ends to medium where you don't see a bunch of crazy Tsubakis. Bro, she will be crazy with you guys. Now Haruna, this one here every 30 seconds and she's hitting Tsubaki, bro, there's a chance that she could miss this. A very high chance. So this one, no. And for PvE, like on the raids, like this is cool, but like it's nothing crazy. It's only 200%. That's very low. Very low. Aru has something around the same amount of damage, but then it can explode and do more damage. And she does AoE with her shots. So nope, I don't rate this one too high. Passive skill. It's increasing crit damage here for Izuna and increasing HP for Haruna. We already know that Haruna is very squishy, so I mean like the 14%, I mean, like, you know, you're giving her like an extra 200 around where most of us are at, like the level 30 to 40, almost 50 range. Like she's getting like 200 like extra, well maybe like 300 extra health. Like, does that really matter? No, not really. Not really. Doesn't help her damage out at all. Not in raids, and not because like I mean this 14% isn't gonna help her from getting like annihilated from a boss, and we're looking at that extra 300 so health. It might help you in PvP to pop to hope that Serena heal hits her, but it's auto RNG, bro. So this is not as useful for Haruna. She needed something else here. She really did. She could have used extra crit rate, extra crit damage, extra attack, something else. This HP here, I do not see it. I do know that HP is very useful for survivability, but not here for a passive. I would not put that on a sniper. Now here for Izuna, she increases her crit damage. Why is this important? She already has a nice crit chance, crit rate. So increasing her crit damage, she does more damage on those crits, and she attacks more often, which means she has more chances to crit, which now she gets extra damage on that. So yes, I do put this very high as usefulness for PvE. Crit helps you get up higher in the damage charts. It's basically a 14% extra increase in damage. Now for PvP, like it's so because like, I mean, you're not attacked, like crit matters more when you're in a longer period of battle, because like you have more chances of those crits to happen. In PvP, some of those fights can be very short, so crits is not as crazy, but it is nice because she's gonna be literally just like brr, brr, like on all enemies, so it's very useful. But PvE, yes, PvE, like helpful to kind of survive against a boss. You can kind of, like, if she gets hit and she doesn't completely die, you can say, hey, that's a 14%, and then heal her with Serena. But in PvP, won't matter, because like Haruna is not gonna be the focus for the heals, honestly. In PvP, this is like really nice, decent, good to have, right? Let's talk the sub skills. So I already kind of talked about it for Izuna, but yes, increases her attack when using her EX skill, which it's cheap, so this is going to be happening a lot, and it lasts for 30 seconds, so it goes right along with the extra attack speed. So yeah, it's useful for PvE and PvP. I'm not even going to go into all this because I already talked about how useful it is to increase your stats, increase your attack, and I know that like even at level 100, her attack is around 2,000, where Haruna is like 3,700. But that extra 20% is going to be an extra 400, so it puts her like 2,400. And then you could still have other units to help increase her attack. But hey, she's increasing her stats, and she increases her, you know, her crit damage, and she does a decent amount of damage here on her normal skills. So this is useful. So there's no negative there. For PvE, this helps her in those long battles to get up there on the charts. So yes, like again, I said, like very similar to Neru, where Neru increases her stats when she goes into a frenzy. So here's Izuna increasing her stacks, her stats when she uses her EX skill. So I do put this very high for PvP and PvE, because getting any little bit of damage you can in PvP will help you win those battles, especially whenever she does hit Tsubaki. She's hitting Tsubaki a little bit harder. If she's hitting a squishy, she's going to be gunning that squishy down, regardless of who they are. Now, Haruna's is useful because she's sitting still, especially for like PvE, like on the raids. Like there's gonna be chances where she's standing still, but I do know that the enemy is gonna be throwing bombs at them, like Shiro and Kuro raid. So like her sitting still is not always the greatest, because she can get like kind of bopped. And I know that you kind of move around every now and then, but like in PvP, for sure, I know this is not as useful, because like as you kill a unit, they kind of move around, and we're looking at like a 10% extra increase in damage, which is like, you know, for most of us, where she's going to be at like 2,000 to 2,500, like an extra 250. Like it's cool, it's okay, but like it's only when she's sitting still, and when she's sitting still, she still has a higher chance of getting sniped out by Shun. And then like we have to hope that she lives long enough to have this happen, where she gets the extra increase in damage, and then she can pop up her EX skill, get an extra increase in damage, right? So like it's good when she's able to take advantage of this, because it's a straight damage increase, but it has a condition, and that's what messes it up. Instead of just being her attack is increased by such and such percent, it's like when she's not moving. So that kind of sucks. That's the only thing, but it's something, right? And then like I said, Izuna. So yeah, I'm kind of ranking Izuna higher, even though people are going to be telling me, bro, you're wrong. Like, bro, just look at what I just went through. Like, for real. Like, Haruna's really good, but I mean, I already have her. It's like, I've seen her. Like, when her damage doesn't happen in PvP, bro, like, she gets killed. She's literally does no damage. Now, in PvE, yeah, it's really nice. It's really cool. But, like, I've seen submachine gun users do a lot more damage. Like, I've seen it. So, I know. But that's kind of like my, like, 2 cents there. On their bond, they both increase attack. Of course, Haruna increases her attack a lot higher with her bond, but what's going to matter here for Izuna, she also increases her attack, but as you get to like level 11 and up, she also gives a little bit of HP, so you do want to focus that. When you're gearing her out, I would say really focus on trying to get Izuna's health up, that way she can survive a lot longer, and then you can get the attack. I'd say the HP is probably like a little more of a priority, and then increase her attack, and then her third gear piece. For Izuna, I would increase her attack, and then when you level her up, get to the crit, and then go for the health, right? So, but anyways, that's pretty much what I have on Izuna. If I were to kind of say who would you go for, if you don't already have Haruna, Izuna will be a great unit for you guys. Honestly, I think she will be very, very vital for you in the raids and getting your damage, and she'll be a good unit to have overall. But if you are looking for a unit to just completely get rid of a Tsubaki and you want to take that chance, and go with Haruna. But overall, I will say that Izuna, just on paper here, until I get her, on paper, Izuna looks like the better unit when just putting them side by side. But that's all I have for you guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. So you lucky gamers, have a good one. Lucky Lux out.